very nice teaching you. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna give a couple things that's just like a refresher course for you to keep going back through, where we'll just re-examine the fundamentals. Provided that we're in tune. What I teach is the spider methods. If you start teaching, would you mind continuing this? This is a great way to get those fingers acclimated. What you're looking for is that the fingers don't leave the fretboard. You never had an issue with this. Your fingers never went off. You kept them right there. What that means is you get this action which keeps us right above the fretboard, so we're able to make contact with each individual notes. This can be considered like a half step, diatonic, chromatic scale all the way up. What we're going to be doing in the future with my other students is enforcing that as being lesson 1. So that would be lesson 1 for everyone. Lesson 2 is taking any chord that you know and learning how to play it in 2 different ways. Meaning when you do start changing into these bar chords, that F shape should stay familiar. When you switch to a baritone ook, knowing that that's a C major rather than an F major, and being able to say, oh, C is a 4th away. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Sorry, fifth way. Being able to say that those two, or going down the other way, being able to see up and down. So C, D, E, F is a 4th away. So C to F, 4th. If I go the other way around, it's 5 tones down. So where we are is I'm trying to show that mobile mobility creates muscle memory right here, and you start moving your arm in a different fashion, thusly leading to being able to do different things in different shapes simultaneously with your right hand and your left hand. All the work that we did on this left hand needs to also have reinforcement with the right hand, which is why we teach basically seeing notes, single notes, as being harmonies, and then triads, which make chords. And those chords can be altered with a sus to give a different feeling, and then they could also alter the 7th to give it a completely different movement and feeling. The 7th is our moving, leading, lending tone, and that's going to be finding ourselves using that to transition in chord substance. So when you're playing your originals, try and see the 7th as being something you want to use sparingly, but when you do use it, it's used for a specific purpose. So what we're doing on the right hand incorporates this, a whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. A half note. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on and so forth. After that, the 8th notes become the quarter notes down, and then the and. So if I were to count it, I'd say 1e and a 2e and a 3 and a 4e and just doing the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1e and a 2e and a 3 and a 4e. And then after 8th notes, which is just the quarter and the up, showing both sides, it has a double time feel on that, which means you just take that beat that you're at and you do it twice as fast. So if I had the whole method keeps the right hand moving, and then I had something in the left hand, it would turn into a song. But I'm not doing anything in the left hand, just the right. So watch this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now halves, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Now quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now halves, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. I said halves, but those were supposed to be 8th notes. So through this process, we see what a whole note is while keeping the rhythm. That leads us to be able to go G, and then on the and, switch. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, switch 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, switch 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, switch. What this does is it gives us enough time to start moving chords. It's just one chord, but you're using 2 different fingering patterns to do the same thing, thusly building retention memory of both those. You're not going to slip up one day and go, oh, I can't remember how to play the G. It just doesn't happen that way. You now have options to play the G both ways, or this way, or this way, or this way, because you've learned all the other chords correlate together. So what we see here on the right hand, let's just take our G. We'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1e and a 2e and a 3e and a 4e and a 1e and a 2e and a 3e and a 4e. That covers my whole note, my half notes, my quarter notes, my 8th notes, and my 16th notes. if so adventurous, try 30-second notes. I can't do it. I haven't practiced that hard. But practicing the practice of practice is what I teach. Everything else is superfluous. So out of this, if you could see the rudimentaries, that does it with the right hand. That'll teach you all the things you need to know. The individual strums that we have for any song are correlated out of that. So let's say we just have a C major, we've got an F major, we have an A minor, and we have a B diminished. If I had that's a quarter, eighth note, eighth note. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. When reading it side to side, you would actually read quarter, eighth note, eighth note. And what would happen in a measure, you'd have a quarter note, which is a filled in circle with a staff, filled in circle with a staff, and then you'd have another little filled in circle. But when you put your staff up, you connect it to the next note. If it's on the same thing, you have, if it was a B on the grand staff, it would be on the third line in the middle. If it was a G on the grand staff, it would be on the second line from the bottom, right? These notes that we learn when you keep going over this in the sight reading portion of learning music education, it makes sense to have a foundation, which is why I started with the triads of C. So a triad has a tone in it. In C major, we've got the C. We also have an E, another C, and a G. Well, if we count out A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, G, and C, there are no sharps, no flats. I wouldn't say C, D, E, F, G, A, C, flat, C. It's too many words. That's why we say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G. So in C, we have C, D, E, F, and G. When I get rid of the third and I have the first, get rid of the second and the fourth and have the first, third, and the fifth, it's my major triad. That's what makes up your C, your E, third, and the G, fifth. Every chord has that. And when you could do C major and C minor, D major and D minor, E major, E minor, F major, F minor, G major, G minor, A major, A minor, B major, B minor, and then C major. You can also go through C major 7, C dominant 7, D major 7, D dominant 7, E major, sorry, E major 7, E dominant 7, F major. Actually, I don't know if I played this one. F major 7, F dominant 7. We would have that F, and then we take our finger off the F to give us the E, and then we take our finger off the E to give us the E flat. At the same time, we're going to want to put our finger back on that F to keep it in the chord so we don't have a diatone. After F, we have G. That's the one we really know. G major 7, G dominant 7. But the concept for that goes the same. The root at the highest form goes down a half step for the major and goes down a whole step for the dominant. After that, we have A. That one, we're moving the A down to A flat or a G sharp, and then to a G. After A, we've got B. You're gonna like this one. We got the B here. We could either move the finger down here and do, which leads this, or we could play B major in a secondary fingering position, and then put this where we play first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, all the way down starting here, just like the E minor, except we do it here. Yeah, and then lastly, we take off our finger for the B diminished, or for the B dominant. All right, so that last one, when we laid this out, we had all of our fingers on here. It did look like the E minor. So when we put this one here and we add this finger here, is that E minor an E minor anymore? Or is it a C? Is it a C major 7? You make the choice, because here's where it comes in. When we start talking about our triads, the E minor with the E, G, and B, B, G, E. when I add this note, those are the same exact notes that are in a C major 7. Just because I'm only playing one note here doesn't mean that this chord isn't the same as this, because all the same notes are exhibited. So which means is, sometimes when you have chords that are one chord in one sentence, in another sentence, they are described as another chord. Case in point, if you could play a C major 7, it is the same as a E minor. When you go through a little bit more music theory, you will notice that repetition of these chords that have the same kind of 1-4-5 feel, meaning in the key of C, if I say 1-4-5, it has a 1, the F, the C. It has a 4, the F, and then the 5, which is the G. If I was in the key of A, we would have 1-4-5. It would be A, D, and then E. And since we've learned how to scale all of our scales and practice around the circle of fifths, I just want to do that really quick so it's solid for us, all right? C major has no sharps, no flats. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. When we go to C major, from C major to C sharp, a half step up, that half step contains every sharp. And the reason why it was kind of mysterious to us when we started talking to each other in music when we first met, when we've got C, D, E, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, those two half steps, the 3 to 4, F to G, C, D, E, E to F, and then B to C, are already there in the key of C because there are no black keys. So we have, however, when we go to C sharp, that whole step, half step, whole step, half step still has to be present. And it just so happens when I say C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, I say E sharp, but I'm actually playing the F note that you know as an F note, but I cannot call it an F because I don't have an F. I already have an F inside the scale. It is C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, because I still need that half step to make my 3 to 4 jump in a major Ionian mode. And I hope this sank in when last time we were talking. I think it did. So when we go around the circle of fifths, I could say C, D, E, F, G. C had no sharps, no flats, which means when I go the first time, it goes C, D, E, F, G. G has 1. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. When I do that again from G and go G, A, B, C, D, D now is my second time going through, and I've got 2 sharps. One of those is that F sharp, and if I ever forget how to figure out what my next sharp could or should be, I just go 5 from that sharp. So the way we find the key next that has those sharps, and the way that we find what that sharp is both by going 5. I know and you know that D has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp, and they keep layering. So when you go through it and you see the circle of fifths I had on the wall here, you will know that every time you go through, you keep layering starting with that F. So F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, B sharp, F sharp, and then C sharp. When we go through these, we have, let's say B, or let's say A. A has 3 sharps. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And if you look at all those notes, they follow the whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So no matter where you do that, you can change all these different tones. On the ukulele, when you've got do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And when you use the right fingerings, if you move that up to a C sharp, you would still have C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, which is a C. It's weird. C sharp, D, the next one, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. We can keep going on like this forever. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, B. But you have to say those notes correlation with those, because if you did not and you played the notes you actually were speaking in the key of E, let's see, it would be E, F, G, A, E. I can't sing a major scale and play a minor. C, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. It's weird. So that does not sound like a major, does it? It sounds off. And that's because if I played what I was saying and not said E to F sharp and F sharp to G sharp, and I just said E to F, F to G, it would be a different movement between those intervals, okay? So the next thing we look at after we have our rhythm, we've got all of our chords down, we see a major, the major sevenths, we start practicing these scales. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We omit the first note and add one after that. So on and so forth till you go through all of them. After the major scale, you get doing all the notes, then do two notes. C, D, C, D, C, D, 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 then change your fingers. C, D, C, D, C, D, C, D, and then go up to the next note. C, D, E, C, D, E, C, D, E, C, D, E, and then eventually do four notes. C, D, E, F, C, D, E, F, C, D, E, F. You can even say them out loud if you want. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, do, re, mi, fa, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, D, E, F. When we have after F, we have G, 5 notes. And what happens when you go through do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, the fingers that I've lined you up to use perfectly, that third finger, which should be hitting that G in that stance, it becomes different when you play that in different keys. I would play that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with my third finger on an open. But when I play it D and have the two sharps, the F sharp and the C sharp, I play that with my pinky. D, E, F sharp, G sharp, because that's exactly where my spiders would have lined me up if I lined up that at fret 2 rather than at the first fret. I hope that makes sense. So when going through those scales can do it with any numbers. After you do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the different ones, try skipping them. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 7, 1, flat 7, 1, 5, 1, flat 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, flat 2, 1, flat 2, 3, and you'll start seeing the correlation between so chords that we know fit together with those melodies and use them interspersely. Those are called accent notes, and when you start sight reading basic music like Ode to Joy, la 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 la, you'll notice that it's a very plum 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 plum, and the melody falls each on those quarters. What happens in jazz, if I were to take that 1, 2, 3, 4 and turn it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dun 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 dun, I can change up the feeling and pattern of it and still use what we've learned: tone, dynamics, rhythm, and interaction through interpretive play on being able to substitute one note for a bunch of them. Something along those lines. So music's interpretive. You're doing a great job. I'm looking forward to getting an email back in the future with some of your original music. I really enjoyed meeting a little brother. If you have any questions ever about music, give me a buzz. These videos I think will always stay up on this YouTube channel, and they were only meant for you. So if you ever want to get in contact, you can put your your information in the contact in the comments, and I could get back to you, or you could just ask a question there and we could have an open dialogue. Anyway, it was a nice meeting. If you have any questions about any of this other stuff, give me a buzz. And I also look forward to hearing what you're going to do with guitar, because it feels like you're going towards that way. I can recommend getting a teacher wherever you are, and then when you have what we've talked about down pat, start teaching. It's the best way to start understanding things. All right? So very nice meeting you. Till next time we meet. Aloha.